7.9 FM. We are back here for the last day today. Today is our last morning, and it is quite a sad day. I must tell you all, I'm feeling a little bit de energized, so I need you all to re energize me and make this last day the best day of these 30 days. Why am I a little bit sad? Because it's been absolutely wonderful. Ramadan has come, and I just make du'as that all of us will keep on with the spirit of Ramadan throughout the next 11 months. And I pray to Allah that all of us are back here again next Ramadan. We are all blessed when you see what's happening to our brothers and sisters, atrocities committed against all our brothers and sisters out there. We are truly blessed, and I'll ask you all to make dua for them. It is absolutely atrocious, and I'm feeling very, very dejected about this. I'm going to share my feelings with you, brothers and sisters, that we are here in a position of wealth, and we sometimes don't appreciate what we have. Throughout the month of Ramadan, I have met some wonderful people. I've met some children. I've met a lot of different people in the community, and I always, in the beginning of Ramadan, I started off by saying that let's all do something positive. Let's do something to make someone smile. And we started off in the beginning to say, pick that phone up and call your mother. The mothers are the most precious gift that Allah could ever give anyone. And call our mothers and make them smile and make them happy. And tell them that you love them. And this is how we started Ramadan. And then we met so many sisters who are doing wonderful work in the community, and we didn't even know that they existed. And we met children, the 9-year-old Muhammad Saif, who told me that I'm going to call all my relations and I'm going to raise money on the Islamic Relief fundraiser. Brothers and sisters, we have a call already, and this chappie wants a voucher.
Hello.
He's got to... Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Brother Zed, how are you?
I am absolutely wonderful for listening to your voice after a long time, my brother. I hope you and your family are well, and you've had a very good, blessed, spiritual Ramadan.
Alhamdulillah, Brother Zed, Alhamdulillah. Once again, we come to that stage of the month where we say goodbye for another year.
Of course, we do that, and this is just talking about that. As a matter of fact, that today is the last day, and tomorrow, inshallah, will be Eid. And brother, I hope no one is going to ring me and ask me, is Eid on Friday or Saturday? Because
well, Brother Zed, you never know on the radio. Anything's possible.
Well, I'll tell you some good news now. And I've got to share that with you, that you being the first caller today, the one who is solely responsible for energizing me and instilling some positive energy in me, has got to qualify for a voucher. Right?
Okay. So I want to dedicate that voucher to my lovely support worker who supports me at work. I want you to mention her name. Her name's Fozia Gul.
Fozia Gul, a big shout out for Fozia Gul. Everyone together, a big shout out for Fozia Gul. And absolutely, I think Fozia, she deserves one of those special breakfast vouchers. What do you think?
Well, a special breakfast, she'll enjoy that.
Well, how about a voucher? Accompanying the voucher is 2 complimentary hot drinks from Chaiwala.
Well, I think she'll appreciate anything that's basically given to her. But the main reason why I rang was, first and foremost, to say how amazing this year has been on the radio.
Assalamu alaikum. Have you lost the caller? Yes, are you still there?
Yeah, I'm still here.
MashaAllah. Yes, indeed, it has been one of the best Ramadan radios we have ever experienced, and
it's been really good with all the new dimensions of the radio. And I've got to give a special mention to yourself, who I believe, without you and my good friend Akil, it would be really very difficult not to be doing the way the radio is, because you two have been absolutely Alhamdulillah, fantastic.
Well, I'm going to share some secrets with all of you listening in right now. We come here every morning and we don't even talk to each other because he's half asleep and I'm three-quarters asleep. So we just come here like habitually, come and sit on our chairs, and then 9 o'clock he gives me the hand signals that start. And then we start, and this is every morning, this is what we do. So maybe at the end of today, I shall go and give my brother Akil a big hug to say, oh, you are here.
No, you're not allowed to do that till the 17th. You've got to follow Boris's rules.
Till the 17th. Thank you for reminding me. So we're going to give him the fist, the new norm in town, which is to do the fist handshake, right?
Yeah, that's it. And after the 17th, you can give him a big hug and you can take him out for dinner as well.
Well, Fawzia, if you're listening in right now, I'm going to tell you about the seriousness about these vouchers that we dish out. Each voucher that we give out comes with a story. Would you like to share, shall I share with you a story that somebody wrote in about a voucher that was given to them?
Yeah, that's fine.
And it says, here it goes, is my wife will kindly collect the award on my behalf and enjoy the chai wala breakfast whilst I'm sleeping, as I don't really have much of a say on this. So he's then put a hashtag husband life. The best thing in this is that when her birthday comes in 2 weeks' time, she expects a present. I can say to her, do you remember that chai wala breakfast you had? And of course, every voucher comes with a story. And he's then going on to say, I will forever cherish this award and keep the wrappers and crumbs from the prize in my trophy cabinet. So this story can be told to many more generations to come, and they too can be inspired. So you see, Fawzia Gul, we're going to share this story with you, and we wish you well for calling in this morning, and we wish you the best of Eid tomorrow.
Inshallah. But as I said, you all have been brilliant, and Eid Mubarak in advance to all of you.
Okay, Jazakallah khair for calling in. We got to move on now. We got a wonderful guest waiting here on our screen. I'd like to welcome our guest Sophia this morning. Sophia Bhatti is joining us, and she's going to introduce herself, and she's going to tell us everything that she does in the community. Jazakallah khair, brother. Assalamu alaikum, my sister.
Walaikum assalam, brother. Thank you so much for having me on your show today.
Thank you for coming, being that it's the last day and there's so many topics that we need to cover. And this week, I don't know if everyone's aware that we have been focusing on so many different topics this week, and mental awareness is also a very important topic that we did not have enough days to cover as much as we would have liked to. We would have needed a whole week for that, my sister. But let's talk about the kind of special things that you do in the community and share with everyone listening in right now, Sister Sophia.
Oh, alhamdulillah. So basically, I help run a charity called the Muslim Bereavement and Support Service. And what we do is we support sisters that have had a bereavement. So the charity started off in 2012. Initially, we were supporting sisters that had sadly lost a child or had a miscarriage or had had a stillbirth. And then we thought, well, why not extend our service so that we can support any sister that's had any sort of bereavement? So, it's a confidential service, and it's a free service for sisters, run by sisters, and it really helps in supporting sisters that have had a loss, especially with the current climate.
Of course, it's MBSS. Is your prefix,
right. Muslim Bereavement and Support
Services, right? And it's a little bit different from other services that are currently available in the community.
That's right. It's different because we will talk to sisters from an Islamic point of view of how to deal with their grief. So we will bring in the Quran, Hadith, Sunnah of how to deal with your bereavement. There's so many du'as that we can give them. There are, hadiths that we can use to console them. So we're different from that point of view. So, for example, if you go to the NHS for bereavement support, they're not going to talk to you from an Islamic point of view, but we can. And, we do have a lot of sisters that have gone to the NHS or gone to private counsellors, if you like, and they've tried that support there, and they just feel they still haven't got that inner peace. So they will come to us because, you know, we'll bring in Islam, and that's the best source of peace, isn't it?
It's wonderful. You know, Sister Sophia, throughout the month we've been calling out for all organizations to engage with us, and Allah has brought to us organizations that we didn't even know existed in this city from different communities. And I was so happy that the onus is on each one of us to go and seek out all these different organizations. And we have met some wonderful volunteers like yourself who are doing this kind of work. Now, do you do this work for a particular community, or is it available for everybody in the community?
It's available for everybody. If there's any sister that needs any sort of bereavement support, you're free to come to us, you know, get in touch with us, and inshallah we will support you. We're not going to turn you away because of your nationality, or, you know, your culture, the language that you speak, or, you know, even if you're of a different faith or of no faith. If you need support, we are all one. So we will support you as well, inshallah.
And this is a very strong message for everyone listening in right now, that it's not about race, color, creed, culture, religion, tradition. Bereavement is a journey, isn't it also?
Absolutely. You know, losing a loved one is probably the most traumatic test that you will ever go through in your life. You know, and sometimes we are unpredictable. We don't know how we are going to react. You know, if suddenly your husband passes away from a car accident, or, you know, you go to hospital expecting to come back with a newborn baby in your hands, and that doesn't happen. You know, it's a sudden shock, so you don't know how you're going to react. So yes, services like ours that are out there, you know, try to take advantage of them, because bereavement is so difficult, so complex as well, because quite often we do get sisters coming to us for support, and it's not just the bereavement that they're dealing with, not just the grief that they're dealing with, it's all the other issues as well that they bring to us as well. So for example, financial issues, marital issues, in-laws issues. So there's all sorts of issues that come into play as well. So when you're grieving, you know, you've got the grief to deal with, and you've sometimes got all these other factors to deal with as well.
Now, already some text messages are coming to me to share your details with them, so I shall ask our control room to share Sister Sophia's details. Is that okay? So
absolutely, yes. I can give you the website address, and we are on social media. We've got an email address and an office telephone number as well.
Of course, another message has come in to me is that, is this service only available in English or in other languages too? Because as we have talked throughout the month, that Leicester has even a minimum of 20 languages that are spoken here today, if not more.
Well, we provide support in a multitude of languages, so obviously English and Urdu, Punjabi, Pashto, Gujarati, Arabic, French. That's just some of the languages that our befrienders speak. Alhamdulillah, we've got over 30 befrienders in London. We've got approximately 10 befrienders in Glasgow. And so, you know, we are able to speak a multitude of languages. We want sisters to be able to converse comfortably in their own mother tongue. So, you know, sometimes we'll get somebody phoning in and saying, right, I want support, but I only want it in Urdu, because I feel most comfortable in that language. And so we will try our level best to find a befriender that is trained to and who is comfortable with speaking to the sister in Urdu.
Of course, all the more important that all of you listening in right now, that if you feel that you have the time and you have the expertise and the work that Sister Sophia is doing, Sister Sophia, absolutely, may Allah bless you for the work that you're doing. Because this is also putting people back on the road to recovery. Every one of us needs support at some time or the other in our lives. And you have friends to call upon, but sometimes you're just afraid to call someone because you worry that, you know, you're afraid. You just have fear in you. And confidentiality, sister, is very important, isn't it? So how does a person be assured that he will have confidentiality maintained?
Well, we're very strict about that. We're covered by data protection regulations. So anyone that comes to us for support can be rest assured that the conversations they have with their befriender will be kept totally confidential. In fact, sometimes we have a few members of the family coming to us for support, and we would allocate different befrienders for each person. So we don't even cross over with the befrienders. So we don't let one befriender support a few members of the same family, because we don't want there to be any, confidentiality rules being broken. So we're very strict about that. And, all of our volunteers have had a lot of training on how to deal with bereavement, on data protection, on the importance of maintaining that confidentiality. So they've had a lot of training around that, and also had a lot of training about how to support somebody who's gone through a bereavement, but also how to support them from an Islamic point of view. So they've had two lots of training, if you like, simultaneously, general bereavement training and Islamic bereavement training as well.
So in your team, many people will be wondering, listening in, that bereavement, everyone in the family is affected by bereavement. The children are affected in a different way. The men are also affected by it, and sometimes men have this tendency to shut it all up inside their minds, and they don't share their emotions, and they hurt. And do you have anything for men as well?
Unfortunately, at the moment, we don't support brothers, and the reason for that is because all of our volunteers are females. And if you imagine, our befrienders are supporting a sister maybe once a week. We can be supporting them up to, say, 6 weeks, 10 weeks, depending on how much support they need. So you can build up quite a strong bond with that sister. So it's just not practical for a sister to be supporting a brother. But we totally do recognise that brothers do need support, because sometimes they're the ones that are trying to keep it together, aren't they? You've got a family, a young couple that's had a miscarriage, sadly, and the husband will try to be the strong one, and he's going to be the one maybe to try to keep it all together. And so, but inside he might be crumbling. So we totally recognise brothers need that support. So if there is anybody that needs support, please get in touch with us. We'll signpost you onto an amazing imam who will be able to support you through your grief, inshallah.
Of course, all the more important for all of you listening in right now, and we have an absolute mission after Ramadan to engage all the good organizations who are doing wonderful work in the community, so they can also sit together and plan together to support each other and signpost each other, because everyone in the community is doing something special, and there's no way that one organization can do everything. So if we learn about each other, the brothers, the sisters doing wonderful work across the board, we can develop our community in a manner which has never been experienced across the board. And also, the strength is going to be that when we go out and embrace other communities and support them as well, sister.
Absolutely. In the past, for example, we were asked by another agency, it's a general bereavement organisation, and they were not able to support a Sikh lady. So they referred her to us. So they said, look, can you take over this support? Because she wants somebody who can speak Punjabi. And, alhamdulillah, we have some Punjabi speakers. So we were able to support her, even though she was off Sikh faith. So, that just shows you that we all signpost, and we get signposted too as well. So the main thing is to make sure that the person gets the support that they need, whether it's from us or from another organisation that can help them better. So sometimes, for example, if we get an inquiry to support somebody and she's already got mental health issues, and she's already under the care of the mental health team, we might not be able to support that sister because she's already been looked after by another more specialised organisation that can help her better than we can. So it's all about getting the best support for that person.
So support is a key word that you mentioned here. Sometimes everybody's got to understand and appreciate that we're human beings and we're all vulnerable. all of us. Is that right, Sister Sophia?
Yes, obviously some are more vulnerable, some are stronger than others. In terms of bereavement, how we deal with a bereavement and how it affects us is also partly affected by the circumstances of the bereavement, the loss. So, for example, if you've lost somebody, a 99-year-old great grandmother, and she's had good life, she's had an Islamic life, she's had all the great children and great grandchildren all around her. Some people may find that easier to deal with than losing, an 18, 20-year-old child that was about to, start his life, if you like. So I'm not saying that, losing the great grandmother isn't sad. Of course it is. Every loss is sad. But some people may find that easier to deal with than, losing somebody tragically, maybe in a car accident, for example. So yes, we're all vulnerable to some extent. And the circumstances around the death, will make it the situation harder to deal with or easier to deal with.
Of course, during this period of COVID, have you seen that the cases have multiplied? Because sadly, we have lost many, many people across the board in the country. I think numbers here are almost 123,000 from the period when COVID started in the UK actively in March 2020.
Absolutely. I mean, just the other day we were contacted by somebody who had sadly lost 4 members of her close relatives, and she wanted support. I mean, how do you deal with that? How can you deal with that yourself? So if you don't get support out there, it's difficult to process, isn't it? How 4 relatively healthy members of your immediate family suddenly pass away from COVID. It's so difficult to deal with. So yes, with the COVID situation, we are being called upon even more. But not everybody calls for support straight away. There is this thing called delayed grief, whereby when you lose somebody at the beginning, you might still be trying to process it and get your head around it. So you might not seek that support at the beginning, but then, a few months down the line, you might feel that I need to go and get some support now. So sisters do come to us further down the line. In fact, we had a sister coming to us 18 years down the line. So 18 years after she had had her miscarriage, she felt that she still didn't have any closure, and she came to us for support. So we don't know when we're going to need that support. So please, if anybody's listening in and they had a loss, however many years ago, and they still feel they haven't had that closure, please come and get some support from us.
So again, I'm going to say to Sister Sophia that many, many sisters, brothers in the community are doing excellent work, and we don't know them, who they are, where they are, and these are the special people in the community. They are the foundation of a community, that they give their time out and they come and do this wonderful work that some of us, we just take for granted and we don't appreciate enough. And may Allah bless them all, and we love you all for the sake of Allah, all of you people who are doing this wonderful work. And I'm really absolutely in shedding tears when I think about them, that Allah give us all the guidance to go out there and make a difference to somebody out there in their lives. Sister, when you do this kind of work, what is your intention? Why do you do this? What gives you the inspiration to go out there and make a difference to somebody's life?
Well, the best intention that we have is pleasing Allah. That's the best intention. That's all the volunteers, I imagine, are doing that for Allah's sake. So that's the best reward, the greatest reward we could ever expect. We do not charge for our service. So MBSS is a free service, but our reward is going to be with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, inshallah, anyway. So the other thing that really motivates us is that we can see first-handedly how we, alhamdulillah, are able to, help sisters through their really low time, the really difficult time. And we see it, when they come back to us.
Okay, sister,
like a changed person.
Sorry to interrupt. We're going to take a very short break now, and straight after the break, we're going to come back and discuss more about the MBSS. Jazakallah khair. barakatuh, brothers and sisters. We are here now for the second session, our last session this Ramadan period. 30 days have just gone by and you don't even know that they have gone by. So today is indeed a very special day because we're going to be sort of doing a lot of work. It's almost like we're going to do a week's work today in one day. And so please bear with us because we'll be moving very, very fast. So over the last week, we have been doing 2 sessions a day in the mornings. Normally we do 1 session, and this week, everybody, we're going to try and squeeze them in. We don't like to say no to anybody. We invite the whole wider community to come and join us. And I'm going to tell you something interesting. We've had different communities, non-Muslims even, coming and joining us. If I can count the diversities that have come here on the program, we've had the Turkish community, we've had the Somali community, we've had the Bangladesh community, Pakistani community, Indian community. We've had different types of people come on the program to join with us. And you know what, Sister Sophia? We have learned so much from all these different diversities. We engage with them, we get to know them, and we get to learn things we did not know in the community, Sister Sophia. And these all people are special because they're doing something that we did not know about. So engaging with each other at another level is the way forward. This is how we're going to build our bonds with each other and support each other and signpost, call a man who knows a man. This is how we are working. Or call a man who knows a woman, Sister Sophia. Have you heard that one before? Right?
No, that must be one from Leicester.
It is one of the radio sayings here, and we say that if you don't know, call someone who knows, because that's how we go down the line and find that special person out there who can support you in your moment of need. So, sister, I want you to share with me how it feels when somebody's called you and you've helped them, supported them. How do you feel about that afterwards?
We feel really honoured that we've been able to help her. This sister might have called us at her lowest point in her life even. She's tragically lost somebody, maybe, unexpectedly maybe sometimes. And they are in despair. And then they call us and, all we're doing is giving them a bit of our time. Time, although it's so precious, we're hoping that we're using it in a useful way. And, we are honoured that when we see first-handedly the difference that just talking to somebody can make. And so we feel really grateful that we're able to do this work. And, just the other day, I had a sister phoning up and she had sadly lost her husband 7 weeks prior. And, she was experiencing all sorts of emotions, guilt, denial. Why did not spend more time with him? Why did I, not take him to doctors earlier on? So we have all these mixed emotions, shock, So we were able just to talk to her and help her to untangle her feelings, untangle her emotions, and try to get some clarity about what's happened. We bring it all back to Islam wherever we can. We talk about Qadar Allah and the fact that he was loaned to you in the first place, it didn't belong to you. And we just talk to her to console her. And that's what we've done here. So we're really honoured to be able to do this work.
Of course, sister, we always talk about sustainability across the board. Everything is to do with sustainability. Even the month of Ramadan now, that has a tag, Ramadan -sustainability. It means how do we continue to maintain our absolute good values that we are developing. Our spiritual intelligence is at another level during Ramadan, right? How do we maintain that? Now, that is what is called sustainability, brothers and sisters, all of you listening in right now, and we can do it for each other. Is that right, sister? We can all support each other.
Absolutely, and we should. We are all one. We are all one. And, even whether we're Muslim or not Muslim, for example, when the Grenfell tragedy happened, we were there supporting on the ground, Muslims, non-Muslims, anybody, people of no faith. So we're all one. So we should support each other. We should be helping each other. We should be looking out for each other. So even if we can't support that person, regardless of whether it's grief or any other issue, we should be, you know, looking out for each other and thinking, okay, does this sister need my help? Does this brother need my help? You know, maybe I do know somebody that can help him. Okay, I can't help him, but let me just signpost them about, you know, this other person that can help them. So we should be looking out for each other and, you know, trying to help each other.
Of course, now, all of you listening in right now, I want you to put yourself in a situation where you need support. Now, the first point of call is you got to pick that phone up. Now, in the past, we used to say pick that phone up at home. Now we say dial a number on your mobile and keep this number in your phone, because one day a friend's going to call you, or you're going to see somebody in distress, or somebody in your family, or even yourself, and you have a number there in your data to call immediately. Now, sister, so that sometimes people, they feel better when somebody's local, or if you're far away in London and somebody's in Leicester, they feel a little bit of detachment. So how do you deal with that?
You know, even sisters in London still prefer to be supported on the phone because it's easier, it's more convenient. So if somebody is based in Leicester or wherever they're based, it really doesn't matter. 98% of the support have provided so far has been on the phone because they just prefer it. In fact, we supported up and down the country. We've supported even abroad. So location doesn't matter. We build up a strong relationship even on the phone or via WhatsApp or via FaceTime, even Zoom calls, Skype calls, etc. We've supported in Dubai. We're currently supporting in New York. We're about to start supporting a sister in Kenya. We're about to start supporting another sister in India. So if you're based within the UK, that's not a problem for us at all. Or, you know, location is not a barrier for us because we are all trained and we can provide the support that you need on the telephone or via email, you know, whichever means works out for both of us at the time.
So it's very important. You are not alone. You can even connect with sister by telephone or via a Zoom call right in your house, and you have a support structure immediately right there, and you don't even have to leave your home. And sister, you have this network MBSS. Is it throughout the country?
Absolutely, it's up and down the country. It's even abroad. And you know what I do want to say is that we're different in the sense that if you come to us for support, you will be speaking to the same sister throughout your support with us. So it's not like some other organisations where you pick up the phone, you speak to one person, the next time you call, you end up speaking to somebody else, and then you've got to explain your whole story again. You will end up speaking to the same befriender throughout your journey with us. The other thing is also you're not going to just be restricted to 6 sessions. So it doesn't matter where you're based, you're not going to just have 6 sessions. Unlike, for example, the NHS, which will offer you 6 sessions, and then you'll have to go through the referral process again. Whereas we don't want to stop the support midway. So if a sister does need more than 6 sessions, we will carry on supporting her. And again, doesn't matter her location, doesn't matter. We'll carry on supporting her until she feels and we feel that she's had enough support and she's able to carry on without our support.
Of course, the question is that how do you sustain your organization?
We do a bit of fundraising as well, and we do rely on donations because just like any other organisation, we do have costs. We want the community to know about us, so we do end up having, you know, leaflets and pamphlets that we try to display in hospital surgeries, doctors' surgeries, hospitals, doctors' surgeries, hospices. You know, we go out to end of life, you know, hospices to display our posters and to meet some of the residents there. So we do have costs. So we really do rely on donations.
Another question has come to me, which I'm going to share with you, if you don't mind, is how did this MBSS start?
We are part of the Gardens of Peace Cemetery in Hainault in London. And what the brothers there realized was that they were burying children, they were burying, you know, fetuses, and they were, you know, and they noticed the look of despair on the mothers' faces. So then they picked up on this and they said, look, we need to support these sisters. These are our sisters, you know, we are going to be accountable. You know, on the Day of Judgment, Allah's going to ask you, well, what did you do when you noticed this? And what did you do to help these sisters? So they recognized that the need was there, and then they suggested that we start this organization, which we did in 2012. And from there, it's just grown. And to date, we've supported over 500 sisters up and down the country, internationally, different religions, no religion, different cultures, sisters that speak different languages, alhamdulillah.
Of course, I'm well aware of GOP. My brother Muhammad there, he's one of the founders, trustees at Garden of Peace. He knows us quite well here at the Radio Ramadan. So my salams to him when you speak to him, sister, that Radio Ramadan Leicester is giving him salams, and they are doing excellent work there. I went in the COVID period, I've attended a funeral there, and sister, it was absolutely a very sad experience. Myself and two of my brothers in Leicester, we attended this funeral, and there were 20 funerals on that day that they had to do, 20. And it was raining, and it was absolutely unbelievable to see that, just to see all that happening, and the way the whole process was in COVID period, just that in itself was enough to really knock your head out, you know. That's how it felt on that day.
It still gives me goosebumps, because even now I'm getting goosebumps, because I've never seen it like that, you know, and it was shocking. And, you know, one funeral after another, one set of grieving families after another, you know, it was just shocking. The despair on people's faces, you know, and the shock that they'd experienced, some of them as well. And now we are seeing the knock-on effects of that, because people are now coming to us, sisters are now coming to us, you know, for the support of losing somebody to COVID or even non-COVID as well.
So there's, as we are speaking, there's a brother Taz. He's asking if we can call him right away, sister. Is that okay?
Yes, absolutely.
And he'll talk to us about this particular subject. And if Brother Akil in the control room can call Brother Taz, he's waiting for our call. And maybe you know this brother, sister.
It's Imtiaz Rajput?
Yes, it is.
I know him. I end up doing some of the ghusls with him, inshallah, you know, alhamdulillah.
Yeah, our control room will contact him. And you see, sister, when you think that somebody's not listening in and they are listening.
I hope he's not the one and only listener.
Inshallah, sister, the program now, because of the social media, it has a reach, and we get people calling in from different countries even, that people are following on the internet, on the Facebook. And of course, there's a catch-up as well. People catch up later on as well. This is the wonders of modern technology, sister. So it has been quite a journey for all of us during this COVID period, sister. And I want to also ask you about sustainability. We discussed that, and ask you if you're aware of the MAD initiative.
No, I haven't heard of that. Could you just clarify?
The MAD initiative means make a difference, right? And it also has another twist to it, sister, which is a good one. It also means make a donation.
No, we like that one.
Yeah, so that's why it's going to be very important for all of you listening in right now to make a difference and also make a donation, right? These sisters, the brothers out there, all of them who are doing good work need our support. And we need, it's our duty, in fact. Allah says, those that are in the path of good, it becomes incumbent and dutiful for others to support them, sister. Is that a wonderful?
Absolutely. I think one of the biggest ways that the community could support us is by letting others know, apart from the donations.
Excuse
one
me,
of
sister.
The best ways of
I have a call, so I'm going to take this call. Assalamu alaikum, brother.
Wa alaikum salam. How are you?
I'm very well, sister. Can you hear this, brother? Can you recognize this voice?
Brother Imtiaz, yes, I recognize him. Assalamu alaikum, brother.
Brother Imtiaz, you are now connected with Sister Sophia. Do you recognize the voice?
Sister Sophia from London.
Yes.
Yes, Brother Imtiaz. Come on, Brother Imtiaz. Wake up.
Wake up, wake up. It's time to wake up, is it?
Yes.
Is it early in the morning?
Yeah.
You've just woken me out of bed. Alhamdulillah.
So
How are you?
we've been discussing the wonderful work that everybody in the community has been doing, including yourself and Sister Sophia, doing a lot of support work for many who have lost their lives during this COVID period, and the wonderful work all the brothers at GOP and all the other cemeteries in the UK have been doing, Brother Imtiaz. And of course,
Alhamdulillah, they've doing a fantastic job. It's been 1 year now, and they have not stopped at all. And unfortunately, they will be closed tomorrow for Eid, which is very upsetting to a lot of families. But it is what it is, because the restrictions with the COVID it's still out there, and it will be absolute chaos at the graveyard tomorrow.
with the people visiting their
Absolutely,
loved
yeah.
ones.
Exactly, yes.
So, Brother Imtiaz, we have very little time before we're at the end of the program, but Sister Sophia has been discussing with us about the process of grief and the bereavement and the support work that she provides, and that you have also worked alongside this wonderful group of sisters. And I think we need to extend these services across the country.
Absolutely. Because obviously it's not just London, it's the whole of UK. And obviously if everyone had a team like we've got here in London for the grieving process, the main thing was for the ghusl as well. And then obviously when you've got funerals and you've got ladies who come to do the ghusl, at a drop of the hat, they just come, alhamdulillah. They've been absolutely fantastic, all of them.
And of course, as I've specified already, Sister Sophia, the importance of supporting all these organizations. I cannot say that enough.
Yes, you're right, because we all have to work together, you know. So, for example, when we've got a ghusl, you know, like Brother Imtiaz says, we want to make sure that we are available and we, you know, jig things around so that we can quickly go and do the ghusl. We don't want to delay that. You know, in terms of, that's just one aspect of the bereavement. Then we've got the other aspect, which is the mental health aspect, which is where MBSS comes in. So we're all part of this big jigsaw puzzle. We all want to work together so that we can, inshallah, make a difference.
Of course, Brother Taz, we call him Brother Taz. I don't know how you refer to him as sister, but we can all, I think, get our heads together and engage with all the other funeral service providers throughout the country and link up with their support services as well and work together, as you said. That would be absolutely wonderful. Brother Taz, you can take this on board?
Absolutely. There is a couple of WhatsApp groups with all the funeral directors of the whole UK. It's called the National Burial Group, and what it is, they're going to have a meeting very soon with all of us together. Once this COVID comes down to a close, that we can all meet together. They usually do this once a year, but for the last two years, unfortunately they haven't had a meetup. But when there is a meetup, there will be discussions about everything that we can help each other throughout the UK, inshallah.
Of course, this period of COVID, we've got to learn from it, and we have got to come out at the other end very positive and better human beings than we have ever been before, Sister Sophia.
Yes, you know, as you say, we've got to try to move on with life. We've got to try to be positive. We've got to try to look forward to the future and take on board, you know, and reflect on our lives and reflect on, sadly, the families that have lost a loved one, you know, unexpectedly to COVID, or you know, it's been a real eye opener, especially, you know, the sisters that when they're coming to us for that support, we just see it first-handedly how tragic it has been for certain families.
Now, some of the stories are absolutely really sad to share, and it's Brother Taz himself has relayed some instances during COVID where members of the family have passed away, the father, the son, and there are too many stories, aren't there, Brother Taz?
Well, there's been, you know, just yesterday, I buried one sister, and a couple of months ago, her other brother passed away as well. So when I was speaking to the brother who was organised everything for me, he said to me, "I've just buried my brother a month ago," and obviously he's lost his brother and sister within a month. But then obviously there are other stories which I can go on and on about a mother passing away, then the father passing away. It's just so many current same incidences happening since the last year.
And sometimes all you guys who are doing this kind of work, you need a heart of stone, cast stone. How you manage to stand up there and go through all these. It's a kind of work that not everyone can handle at all, Sister Sophia.
That's right. You've got to be quite strong as well, but you've got to be empathetic as well. This is somebody's loved one. You can't just treat it like a job. This is somebody's loved one. They had feelings, they had emotions, they have memories of them. So we try to be really empathetic when we're supporting them. When we're doing the ghusl, we try to think, okay, this is not just another ghusl. This is somebody's loved one that you're about to wash. So we treat them with care, we treat them with tenderness, we try to involve the family if we can, and we try to give them that time, because this is going to be the last time that they see their mother, their sister, their auntie or whatever. So we try to deal with them very carefully and sensitively. And the same goes with when we're supporting them, providing the bereavement support. Again, we're trying to be empathetic. We're trying to, to some extent relate to them. And a lot of our volunteers have had a personal loss as well. Some of our volunteers have lost siblings, children, parents, husbands. So they can really relate to these feelings of despair and sadness sometimes that we do come across.
Guys, I'm going to say to everyone listening in right now, before we started the month of Ramadan and we came here on the first day, my own head was filled with so many problems, so many adversities. And right now, they've all gone, because throughout this month, I've learned how lucky I am, how blessed I am in comparison to so many other people that I have come through their stories and seen what they're going through. And all of you listening in right now, sometimes you think the world has fallen apart on top of your head. Then you will meet Sister Sophia, you will meet Brother Taz, and they will tell you some stories that will absolutely wake you up. It's an awakening, isn't it, for all of us, that everybody thinks that they have got it bad, but somebody has got it 10 times worse than you.
Absolutely. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala also look at people that are worse off than you. Don't look at the people above you, look at the ones that are worse off than you, because that makes you realize how lucky you still are. Think about the the family, for example. We were referred to by a social worker who was looking after a family because sadly they lost 2 children in a drowning accident. Think about people like that. Think about the families where a couple has been trying for children. They've gone through the IVF process. They finally managed to conceive and have expecting twins, and then suddenly they lose both twins. Think about families like that. So alhamdulillah, count your blessings, and as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, think about the gratitude, show me gratitude. That's one of the biggest forms of worship.
Brother Taz, I don't know if you guys in the South have heard about the story of Dr. Majdi Akil. Have you heard his story?
I haven't.
No.
Now I'm going to share that a little bit with you, that he was a COVID patient. The whole family had got a positive result. And Dr. Majdi was, I think he's about 70 plus. And he was taken to hospital, and they'd practically given up on him. They said, he's not going to make it, he's on his last days. And he was in a coma. And of course, what happened is that a nurse in the hospital, she had to from YouTube, she downloaded a surah, and she put it right there by his ear. And what happened, that he started to recite that surah himself. And today, he's back at home, recovering. And he was brave enough, strong enough, he found a little strength to call in and tell us his story, which we were absolutely inspired by, that how Allah brought him back. So anything is possible, brothers. When the doctor said he's got last 2 days, he's not going to make it, and they'd given up on him. And look, one sister, she was not even Muslim. She went on the internet, downloaded on her telephone, on YouTube, she found an Arabic surah. She didn't even understand what it was, and she went and put it by his ear. So is that a story that really makes you wonder, makes you think that always Allah has a way, Allah has a plan?
Exactly. You know, MBSS does go out to hospitals, so we were coming across a lot of COVID patients, and you know, the family members were not allowed to go in. So MBSS was called upon, and you know, to recite surahs over the phone, for example, because we weren't allowed to go in to visit the COVID patients either. So we would recite surahs on the phone. We would, you know, and we would, you know, organize it so that they could have the Quran cubes beside their bedside to give them that comfort. So yes, we don't know. At the end of the day, you know, life and death is in the hands of Allah. You know, we can all do what we can do, but ultimately He is the one that gives life and death.
Of course, now it's very important that today we've made contact with each other, and the three of us, we coordinate and link up with all other organizations to bring awareness to them, who we are, what we do, and collectively how we can all benefit by become stronger for each other. Brother Taz?
What we need to do, as you said, you know, forget all our differences or whatever we need to do. Wherever we are in the whole of UK, inshallah, we should all get together. There's always links that we're going to make up. And inshallah, when this National Burial Fund gets going again, I would get you involved into that as well. And then obviously we can all work together, inshallah.
And of course, this year in the city of Leicester, I'm very, very proud to say that how many young people, they stepped up their game and they got involved and they were helping with the burials, because it was a very, very fantastic thing what I saw. A lot of young people, they were absolutely busy in the early times when we had up to 3 funerals a day here in the city. And some of the older guys are vulnerable, so they were taking a step back. And these youngsters, tirelessly, they were working hard. And Brother Taz, you will be more familiar, because in London, you're a bigger city. How many funerals will you be doing a
you're
day?
talking about you was doing 3 funerals a day. Just at one graveyard at Garden of Peace, they were doing 20 a day for about 2 months. This year, January, February, they were doing 20 burials a day.
Of course.
So when you got to step up, you got to step up.
That's right. And this is something that you can't even comprehend. And sometimes all of you listening in right now, you think that, well, it doesn't affect me. Of course it does. It affects everyone, because Sister Sophia, somewhere down the line, you're going to know a friend or a brother or a sister who's going to go through this process. And that's where it's so important that we all come together and appreciate and love each other for the work that these guys are doing out there. Sister Sophia, it's so very important, isn't it?
Very important. You know, we need to signpost individuals. So, for example, somebody, you know, the other day I got a phone call about a sister who sadly lost her husband, 45-year-old, unexpectedly, and she wanted to know about the funeral arrangement. She wanted to know about post-mortems and whether it's possible to do an MRI. And so I called Brother Taz, didn't I, Brother? And I said, look, what is it about this? And I was like, how can we work around this? Is it possible that you could arrange this? And all of this. So yes, you're right. You know, we've got to work together. We've got to look out to see who is the person that knows more about this and get in touch with them. Because at the end of the day, we want to get the best support for that person. I'm not the specialist when it comes to, you know, transporting bodies. And, you know, so I spoke to Brother Taz and I said, look, what can we do about this? So yes, let's support each other, and you know, so that we can do everything with excellence, so we can do everything the best that we can.
Of course, these guys, Sister Sophia, Brother Imtiaz, these at that time are the rocks of society, because when they take over and they absolutely lift all your burdens. And in the city, sister, we also have an MBS in the city, in the Leicester City, called the Muslim Burial Service. So straight after, I'm going to call the brothers over there to find out if they are also linked up with the support service. And if they are, then I'm going to link them up with you, Sister Sophia, so you can do some good collaborative work together.
Fantastic, that'd be great, because they might be dealing with the ghusl side, they might be dealing with the burial side, but are they what's happening to these sisters? And once they've gone through the burial, etc., who's supporting them afterwards? Is there any support there? So just please signpost them to us, and we'll take over the support, inshallah.
Of course, I will find out, because you've prompted me to become aware of something that I myself was not aware of, because never thought about it or never even went down that road. So that's why it's so important that we've had programs here at the Radio Ramadan called I Don't Have a Clue. And we live in a society like that we don't have a clue what goes on around us. We're just living our lives, going to work, earning money, paying our mortgages, paying our expenses, and running around. And in reality, we don't have a clue what goes on around us.
Yeah, I mean, we see it first-handedly. I mean, Brother Taz does as well. We see it all the time where, we get contacted by police officers sometimes and say, look, we've just got this case, there's been a tragic death, this is going to need support. We get contacted by, funeral directors and saying, look, we need you to take over the support of this sister. I've just buried her child and she's distraught. Can you please get in touch with her, support her? So we get, contacted by bereavement midwives as well, saying that, I've just helped this family. They've sadly had a child, stillbirth, and I don't know what to do. Can you please support this family? So you're right. We've got to work together. We've got to signpost to each other, and that way that particular individual can get the best support that they need by the right person.
Of course, I'm sure, Brother Taz, you must know of some apps also that we can get involved with, that can signpost. You can put your postal code in there and it will tell you who's the nearest person to support you for these kind of things. Is there any such thing?
No, at the moment, when I'm dealing with bereavement, especially for parents who have lost their child, there was a non-Muslim who contacted me, a friend of mine. She had a Muslim brother who's lost his child, stillborn, but it was full term. The mother wouldn't let go of the baby for 5 days. She asked me to get in contact with him and to help him out, for him to get ready for the funeral and everything. And also all I had to do was just send him a few messages and tell him what to do, what not to do, and then send him some Quranic verses as well to have sabr, and Allah will reward him with something better. And when I sent it to her, she said, forwarded it to him. I sent him a book as well. Got him in touch with the bereavement service, which is run by Gardens of Peace. I'm sure that's what part of Sophie is involved in. And alhamdulillah, they did do the burial, but it's so hard for families who've got their first child who've passed away as a stillborn, but it was full term. And obviously the mother couldn't let go. So obviously I had to pass on a few numbers, a couple of Quranic verses, a couple of my usual messages I send out on Fridays.
Right, Brother Taz,
comfort the family.
I have to interrupt you now. I'm sorry. We're coming to the end of the program, sister. So I'm going to ask the sister quickly to say your goodbye to the people in Leicester, and if you can do that.
Sure. Thank you. I just want to say to your listeners, if you have lost a loved one, come and get the support. It doesn't just have to be us, it can be anybody, but seek that support. You need to move forward, and you need to look forward to the future.
Your website, sister?
www.mbss.org.uk. You can email us as well, info@mbss.org.uk.
MashaAllah. Now, Brother Taz, thank you very much for coming on this morning. Both of you, I love you for the sake of Allah. Carry on doing the good work, and may Allah reward you for all your efforts. So we have an absolute packed day today with lots of things happening. So please keep in touch, all of you. Jazakallah khair. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum.